Welcome back to our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode. Last time out we sadly did not finish the race because we had a mechanical failure, but we'll be hoping to put that right today then, as we've got the Monaco Grand Prix. And before we get into that though, we have now reached level 5 of our team acclaim, so we can add another sponsor. We're going to go with Zaynetto because that seems like a pretty easy objective to complete, and it's got a good payout as well. We're also going to continue on then with trying to upgrade our car a bit. We've got a chassis upgrade coming then for what will be Baku. It won't be on in time for Monaco sadly, but we'll have that soon. We're also going to do a bit of a factory upgrade now to the engine. This is the first one we've done, and we're just filling up our time then with activities for the next couple of weeks until the next race. So we'll be fast forward in time now then. We've got some more upgrades on the way, which we're hopefully going to get through now, including an engine upgrade here, and there's another one coming up as well, which we have thankfully got, so that's good for us then. Heading into this weekend is once again quite close between us and Alfa Romeo here. It looks like Williams and Haas are also closing up as well, so this fight down at the bottom of the at the back of the grid then is looking like it's going to be a very close one then. It's looking like it's going to continue on that way throughout the season. These are the upgrades that we've got coming up then, hopefully in the next few weeks as well, so we should hopefully have those all on the car in time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, which will be next. In terms of the weather, well, it's going to rain at the end of qualifying for this weekend, but it probably won't be affecting us though, because we'll probably be out in Q1 or Q2, and then in the race there is a chance, but not a high one, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Now, what I didn't realise was that the part that had a failure last time out was the gearbox, and it is now extremely worn, and I was having a lot of problems here in practice trying to change gear, and it was really disrupting our practice. And you can see we had 80% wear on it after only 2 races, so it looks like that was the issue back in Spain that forced it to retire. It does mean that we have to take a new gearbox this weekend, which is going to mean a penalty, and this is the worst track to have had that happen. Monaco, the hardest place they would take, and that is very unfortunate then. Our practice didn't really go to plan this time around. As I said, we were having a few issues there with the gearbox, so that certainly disrupted things. And so it's certainly not been the ideal way then to start this weekend, but at least we have still gained some more resource points and some driver acclaim, and we'll see now then what we can do in qualifying. Obviously we know that we're going to be knocked back 5 places already then, so ideally we want to be hopefully trying to get through to Q2 here then, because that will mean that we then at least we should avoid qualifying, starting at the back of the grid then for the race. On this first run then in Q1, our new rival Mick Schumacher decided that he was just going to block us all the way through then on his outlap here, and that means that there wasn't the best time there. I mean, he wasn't really blocking us, but we just had a nice wave of dirty air for most of the lap there. We were 18th after our first run then, and this is our second lap now then, but we are gaining some good time here then. We're about nearly 2 tenths up then after the first half a lap here then, so it's going quite well for us at this point, and we're just gaining more and more time here then through the Nouvelle chicane, so it's looking pretty good here then. But we just had a bit of a slide there exiting the swimming pool section, and that's hurt our lap quite a bit there then, lost a few tenths, and out of the final corner now then we're starting to gain a bit of time back now then, so we are on for an improvement here, and it's a 1:10.5, which puts us up to 15th then. So we're looking pretty good at this stage then, as we now head on to our final run, where we know we can do better than what we did before, because we did make a bit of a mistake on that lap. And we're looking good here once again, and a 10th up in the first sector here. So hopefully we're on for a big improvement on this lap. Into Portier then, we just run too wide there though, and that's put us well out of shape. We actually brushed the barrier there as well, and didn't get any damage, but all that good work in the first sector has been thrown away here then. Obviously we know that we can still improve here though, because we just messed up the swimming pool gained so much on our second lap that we still gained a lot of time back here then. But it's still quite frustrating though, because we haven't had a perfect lap in this session, but we'll see what we can do then. We're nearly 2 tenths up as we come to the line, but sadly then we did not make out our Q1 there then. We were only 18th, and that is disappointing, because we should have been through there in 15th really if we had hooked up a lap together, but we didn't manage to do it then. And we did at least out-qualify our teammate, but still it's not going to mean anything, because with our grid penalty we will be starting last on the grid then for this race sadly. And our teammate then, as I said, joins in being knocked out in that session. and Schumacher got through, which was a big shame for us then, because he now gets the early lead on us then in this rivalry. We do at least still gain a chunk of acclaim then for both us as a driver and also for the team as well, so it looks like here then we are going to level up here to level 6 already, so it's looking pretty good. Obviously we're now trying to aim to get to level 10 so we can get our next sponsor on the car, and here we are now then back in the motorhome, and yeah, we've got a lot of work to do then from last on the grid here. There is of course that chance of rain then, but only as much as 24% near the end, so it's not looking likely, but I mean, you never know, I guess. We'll see what happens then. We're last on the grid at Monaco, and we'll now head then into the Monaco Grand Prix.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo Casino, first opened in 1863. And of course, a certain road race, first held here in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. We're on the French Riviera once more this weekend at the 2-mile-long Circuit de Monaco. The cars will climb around 40 metres up the hill, past the casino, and then descend downwards towards the harbour through Sector 2. It's a very short run from pole position to the first of the 19 corners at Saint-Devote. And don't expect to see much overtaking here today. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of Turn 1, so how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty: positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Charles Leclerc and Sainz, Norris, Gasly, Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda, Vettel, Stroll, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi and Christian Lundgaard, Russell, Latifi, Mazepin and Ace. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
I never noticed this at the time, but it actually says here that the 2-stop would be faster than the 1-stop, but I think that would just be like theoretically if I was the only person on track. I don't think it really takes into account the fact that, you know, I'd have to make more overtakes doing that 2-stop strategy. So I think going with the 1-stop is the better way here then. We're going to be starting on the hard tyres, and I think like with Spain, I think just running long into the race and just trying to avoid getting lapped for as long as possible could be the right option to go with here then. You see the top 3 all got through to the top 10 on mediums then, the rest of the top 10 on softs, and then everyone outside the top 10 except for the 2 Alpines are on the hard tyres then. They've decided to go for the mediums, but no one else has then outside of the top 10, so looks like everyone else is on the same strategy as us then, so at least we shouldn't be super slow here then during this first stint. But somewhere where we are super slow is here on the warm-up lap. Everyone is just coming to a standstill here then as we approach Lowe's hairpin, and it is literally a car park here. I don't know what is going on, but I mean the front runners are already heading towards the final sector here, and we're just almost at a standstill trying to get through the Lowe's hairpin here. So I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, hopefully we're going a little bit quicker than afterwards. And yeah, if they're going all this though, then we should have a chance of making some overtakes here. As we finally now then make it back to the grid, Mazepin there pulls over into the bus lane, which is of course very appropriate there for him, and we will now line up then in 22nd place, and we'll have the lights come on now then straight away, and we'll be ready for the start. And away we go, and it's a much better start than we had last time out in Spain, but we'll have to see now then if we can actually go anywhere with it then. Obviously we're very early on the brakes here to avoid running into the back of anyone. It looks like we may well get round the outside here of Mazepin then into the first corner, and yet we're up to 21st then already here then. The 2 Williams just up the road in front of us here then, and through Massenet now then. It's all very single file through here and also through Casino Square as well. We may well have a chance here into Mirrorberg if it all tightens up, and yes, that was exactly what happens then. We dive for it then past both the Williams drivers. We're still side by side with Latifi though, and towards Lowe's hairpin it almost comes to a standstill yet again here, but it looks like we've got the move done then, and we've managed to pass both the Williams here then. So that's a good start for us then. We're right in behind Lundgaard already here, so good start for us as a team. And I mean, only one more overtake and we'd actually be back where we qualified then, as we actually did touch the inside barrier there in Porte. That hurt our run through a tunnel and it almost put Latifi onto us there, but nice and late breaking into the new Gulf chicane has managed to get rid of that threat there then, and we stay in 19th then after the start. So yeah, as I said, a pretty positive start there then, just one place behind where we qualified already then. We see a replay of the start. It's going to be a long time until we see us coming through, but up at the front there it looked like Hamilton got the jump on Bottas there, Bottas who got pole, but as I say, it looked like Hamilton got the jump on him there, and then we were running outside of Mazepin. So one who did not get a good start at all here was Sebastian Vettel in the Aston Martin, qualified 11th I think it was, but very slow away from the line, let his teammate and both the Alpines go through there. So yeah, certainly not a good start for him. Obviously the Alpines, the only cars in the midfield that are on the medium tyres, so that would probably have helped their start quite a bit there. And here's the move then on the two Williams drivers, and obviously it did get very tight there, but thankfully managed to get through unscathed and managing to pick up a couple of positions. You see on board from Russell, and certainly we just dive through there and take both of them. I think we had maybe brushed the inside barrier again there at that corner as well, but luckily we didn't get any damage there by the looks of things. As we skip on to lap 10 now then, where we're still in 19th place here then behind Lundgaard, and we haven't managed to make any kind of progress yet, but we're still keeping some good pace here then on both cars, because we're keeping with the Alfa Romeos here then. It's still Schumacher at the front of this group, but we've managed to pull away from the two Williams here then. We're almost 3.5 seconds clear, as we actually did get a very good run there on Lundgaard with DRS, and he had to go a bit defensive, and that's given us a good drive here through the first corner, and we're really catching him here up the hill towards Massenet. And we're going to go for this then, up the inside into Massenet. We're once again side by side. We've been side by side in all three races so far this season, and once again then we managed to make the move stick here then and move us up into 18th place. So yeah, this is going quite well for us then. We're back where we qualified now, and here's the replay then of that move. And yeah, already started up at turn 1. We just had a good run, and yeah, that just gave us a great run and all the way up the hill. Interesting onboard camera here then. I guess it's all like the driver's eye level there, I guess, but a bit off centre. But yeah, that's the move from his or our perspective. And now you just see here Lundgaard, he had to go defensive towards turn 1 there, because we did have a very good run with the DRS there, and that just put him out of shape all the way up the hill, and we just had a great drive. We were using our overtake, and yeah, he couldn't tin on the said once we committed to the inside line. And yeah, he thankfully just about backed out of it then going into Casino Square, because that could have been an instant there. But yeah, we got through then up into 18th position here. The two Alfa Romeos next up the road, but then in fact on the next lap here we're very deep into turn 1, and now we've put ourselves under pressure for Lundgaard to do what we just did. So thankfully we managed to just about hold him off there, but yeah, that could have just been a repeat of the previous lap there then if he'd had a good enough drive there up the hill, but we did just about enough there to maintain our position there. And skip on to lap 16 now then, where we're right back on the tail of the two Alfa Romeos here once again. It's Giovinazzi then just at the road in front of us, and what I was hoping for here is that he would just drop out of DRS range very slightly, and that was indeed what happened here, and that gave us a bit of a good drive now then towards the first corner. But yeah, we just weren't close enough on that occasion to really be thinking about challenging for a move. But our pace does look very good here. Obviously I did say that I think we were good enough to have qualified 15th in qualifying had we managed to hook the lap up, so I think this is sort of reflecting that here then. In our race pace, it's looking like it's the same again here, as Giovinazzi had a big locket there into the first corner, and once again then we've got a good run here up the hill, but we're not quite close enough this time to go for the move into Massenet. We were obviously like completely side by side the previous times, and that was what allowed us to make the move, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time around then. And yeah, we stay in 18th for the time being. Then we skip to lap 23 now then, and yeah, we're now being lapped already then by Lewis Hamilton, who I believe is the race leader then, and yeah, already let in a car through. So yeah, I did end the fuel once again for this race, so that does seem to have been a good idea to do that. And we'll now see then if we can pounce on Giovinazzi then whilst he's being lapped here by Hamilton, because he will have to get out of the way as well. He gets out of the way in a very awkward position there, and that's going to put us onto him then into Portier. And we're up the inside, we locked up a bit, but we've got the move done, and we're up to 17th position. So we're really turning this into a good race for us, and we can still catch Raikkonen and Schumacher as well, hopefully, in this race. As we see then, Giovinazzi let him through in a very awkward position there then, and yeah, we were up the inside, and yeah, he couldn't turn on us, but he actually ran wide and hit the barrier there. We'll see it on board now then from the Alfa Romeo, and yeah, just a very awkward letting through there of the race leader. And well, I mean, it's not like I was forcing him into the barrier there, he sort of just drove himself out of road there, and in fact he did break his front wing and had to pit for a repair there, so that has not gone at all well at all there for Antonio Giovinazzi. And yeah, that's hurt his race quite a lot. As on to lap 26 now then, where Sebastian Vettel is out of the race now. So yeah, it's not been a good afternoon then for him, and it has now ended. I was hoping for a safety car here, because that could certainly tighten things up once again and allow us to pit. And but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case though at this rate. We are catching back up to Raikkonen though, and Schumacher is there also letting through some back markers. There is Vettel. I'm a bit surprised that that wasn't a safety car there, because he was pulled over in a bit of an awkward place there to recover that car. As we see then through the swim pool section, I think just something broke there because he was sort of suddenly offline, and then just a whole train of cars actually came through there. I think that was some of the cars that started on the soft tyres there, being released there, that were behind the Aston Martin. As we skip onto lap 32 now then, we're right on the back of Raikkonen now then, and in fact he's pitting and so is Schumacher there, so that's going to move us up to 14th. And at this point I thought that was quite early for a pit stop, and I thought they were maybe going for a 2-stop here, so I was still fully committed here to sticking with our strategy of going on to lap 40 for our pit stop. Our tyres still look very good here, so I was quite happy to just continue on with this one stop. But what I didn't realise was that there was a huge empty bit of track here, because Lance Stroll was also staying out, and he was holding up a bunch of cars that pitted earlier for the that had started on soft tyres. And yeah, there's just a big train here behind Lance Stroll, and that was leaving quite an empty bit of track here for Schumacher and Raikkonen to come out into. And it's going to be even emptier now then, because Latifi was ahead of him, but he's now out of the race as well then, and it doesn't look like we're having a safety car for this one either. So yeah, still green flag racing then, and we still can't make our pit stop well at this stage. Schumacher there then on board just exits the tunnel to a face full of smoke as Latifi's engine blows, and yeah, that gives him even more clear space than he had before then. So it's actually worked out quite nicely here for Schumacher and Raikkonen. It looks like we may well have gone with the wrong strategy here then, unless they are on that 2-stop, which obviously we saw was a possibility for this race, and that's what I was still thinking at this point. So I was thinking, just continue on with our 1-stop, and we may well be able to catch them back up later on then, especially if they do pit again. So yeah, that was what I was trying to do here then. And then we come now then for our stop. Looks like Lundgaard has done the same thing as us, since the team have gone with pretty much the same idea for both cars, but Schumacher only 8 seconds behind, so it does look like this may well have been the wrong decision then, especially if they do go to the end on those tyres. They're on the mediums, so it is a possibility. And for some reason our front wing is being changed. I do not recall having any front wing damage at all here. I didn't feel like I had any front wing damage. It didn't show up on the MFD that I had any damage, so I have no idea why they did that, and that is just going to hurt us even more then and cost us even more time to Raikkonen and Schumacher, as we're behind Alonso now then, who has just lapped us. He hasn't pitted yet, so that's why he's up in 4th place there. So he's done a very long stint there on the medium tyres. So yeah, there's just all sorts of different strategies going on here then, and I think we may have underestimated how long these medium tyres can go here. We maybe should have been on them a lot earlier, as we're now having to let through Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc here as well then. So we're going to drop a lap down to them as well, and this time it's us that's doing a bad job here of letting the cars through. We didn't do a good job with that at all there, and just hurt ourselves even more here. But the thing is, we've got fresh medium tyres now, and our pace is good on them because they're fresh tyres. Leclerc's been out on those for a while, and we're actually sticking with him, and we've got DRS here. We've got a great run towards the first corner, and what is happening here? What has just happened? We have just unlapped ourselves from a Ferrari in only the team's 3rd race. What just happened there? I mean, our old teammate from our previous series, Charles Leclerc there, I wasn't expecting to be racing him again at this point, but we had a run there. We have fresh tyres, and we've somehow managed to overtake a Ferrari there and lap ourselves. And I mean, Leclerc didn't even defend that. He wasn't even expecting that to happen. But yeah, we've gone through here. But I mean, the problem is though that I can't make any progress here because there's even more cars to unlap. So yeah, the blue flags just came out again before long here. So we're gonna have to let him through again, or else we're gonna get a penalty, which is annoying because yeah, that's gonna really just hurt our progress here even more, as we've lost so much time to Raikkonen and Schumacher now. And yeah, Lundgaard jumped us in the pits, and of course because we had that front wing change as well. And yeah, but you can see though, we're living with the pace of the front runners here. Like Lundgaard's sticking with them as well. He's obviously letting Leclerc through now, and in fact he's very slow there, and that just allows us to nab the place off him once again. So thank you very much, Christian. We're back up to 18th place now. But yeah, you can see then skip on to lap 46. We're on the pace of these front runners. I believe Alonso is now pitted, so yes, Perez and Leclerc in front of us, and we're sticking with them. Both me and Lundgaard are sticking with them here. So hopefully they don't actually hold us up here. We've got Russell in the pits now then for what I believe is his first stop. But what we need to hope for now is that they don't hold us up, and that they actually can, in these final 30 laps, just catch up and lap the cars in front of us then, so that we can just follow them and just overtake them all with them, if that makes sense. That's what we're going to try and do now then. Here comes the first one. It's Giovinazzi then, who pitted early. He obviously broke his front wing quite early on in this race. And yeah, Leclerc goes through. We've got to just try and do that now then for the rest of the race. Once they get lapped, we've got to go through as well. But in fact, Giovinazzi has hit us there. But we've managed to get away with it though by the looks of things, and we're up to 16th position. But look at this then, we're 17.5 seconds behind Raikkonen now, nearly 20 seconds behind Schumacher, as we see then that replay of Giovinazzi hitting us there. And yeah, he let us through, and then he had to try and get back on the throttle quite quickly though, because we were coming through as well. And yeah, just made a bit of a mess of it there then. And in fact, he did actually break his front wing again, so that's his second time in the pits there to repair damage. So it has not been a good afternoon at all then for Antonio Giovinazzi. But unfortunately for us though, Leclerc and Perez just did not have the pace here to actually catch up to Schumacher and Raikkonen at a quick enough rate here. We're still 12 seconds behind Raikkonen here then on lap 60. And the problem for me was that I couldn't pass Leclerc and get far enough ahead without the blue flags coming out, because if I did pass him, I would have to then try and pass Perez very quickly afterwards as well, or else I would just be getting blue flags for Leclerc. So I was in a real difficult position here. I really couldn't make any progress at all, or at least not at the rate that I know I could do. So, and that was really hurting our chance here. I really could have caught Schumacher and Raikkonen, I feel, but I just couldn't. And we're now getting lapped for a second, so that's really put pay to that then, as Hamilton now goes through then. And well, you can see just the difference in our pace though, because it was lap 23 the previous time, and it took another 40 laps for him to lap us again here. Now lap 74 we actually do clip the inside barrier there, heading towards Low's hairpin and break our front wing slightly. So yeah, that's really put pay to it now then. Sadly, just this second half of the race we've just been sat behind Perez and Leclerc here. Been very frustrating. I never thought that a Red Bull and a Ferrari would be holding us up, but well, it's now got even worse because yeah, our front wing is quite badly damaged, but at least we only have a couple of laps to go then, because we have been lapped a couple of times. But yeah, this was really just capping off what was quite a frustrating second half of the race then. We really just got the strategy wrong here. We should have been in a lot earlier for our pit stop, like around the time that Schumacher and Raikkonen pitted, because there was that very clear bit of track that we could have been pitted and really released back into. But yeah, we didn't really pick up on that then. But yeah, we'll just have to learn for next time, I guess. But yeah, we're just limping around now then on what is our final lap then, with a very broken front wing here then, heading around Casino Square. And well, there goes the rest of our front wing. So this is going to be a very sketchy final lap here then, as we've got Lundgaard right on the backwards then, but we're going to try and keep him behind us here, because well, we're not under any threat from those behind. Russell is catching us, but not at a quick enough rate here for him to get us before the end. So I really just wanted to try and keep Lundgaard behind here then, and just yeah, limp home then with this 16th place finish. Bottas is sort of helping us a bit here, because it does give us a chance to slow down a little bit. But yeah, just a very frustrating afternoon here then, that has ended in a very frustrating way here then, with us trying to drag our car around then without a front wing here. And Lundgaard, I imagine, very annoyed behind us as well here, being held up. But we are going to stay behind, stay in front of Russell. And yeah, we just weren't going to catch Schumacher and Raikkonen in the end, sadly. we're going to come across the line at 16th place in Monaco.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy and to stay out of trouble.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
Lewis Hamilton wins yet again, and that's three wins from 3 races so far then this season. And it's Verstappen, and for the first time this season he manages to break the streak of Mercedes 1-2s there. Then he finishes second and separates the top 2. Bottas on pole then, but couldn't finish third in the end. Looking further down then, there we were in 16th position ahead of Lundgaard and Vettel then, and Latifi. They were the only 2 retirements in this race, and yep, surprising that neither of them actually brought out a safety car in that race. Looking further up, Alonso there in the points, I believe, for the first time for Alpine. In the standings, Hamilton now then 23 points clear. He's won all 3 races, but he hasn't had any fastest laps yet. It's Bottas who got it today, and I believe Verstappen had the other 2. It's Mercedes 1-2, Red Bull 3 and 4 there. Leclerc gets himself up to 6th then with his best result of the season. Then he was 5th today, he moves up to 6th in the standings. Ricciardo stays 7th, Vettel moves down, Gasly moves himself up into the top 10. And yep, for us though, sadly, we've dropped down to 20th now then. We yet again missed out on a good chance here today to maybe get up into the top 14, sadly. Well, in the race at least, and that could have maybe put us around about 15th or 16th in the standings, but it sadly wasn't to be. And then the constructors, Mercedes still lead the way. Ferrari have overtaken Aston Martin, Haas have overtaken Alfa Romeo, and we stay in 10th position.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. How do you feel these grid penalties are affecting the sport? You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret? Sounds like there's some work to do back at the factory.
So it has not been the best start to our rivalry against Mick Schumacher, although at least we did get the faster lap today, so it was level in the race and we stayed just 1 point behind then in that rivalry. But I do think we have the potential then to get back into it then and get back ahead, so yeah, we shouldn't worry about it too much then. We have shown we have got the potential then to get some decent result here then, but sadly it just hasn't quite happened yet. But obviously we're learning as we go then about what strategies work and what doesn't. But yeah, we had a bit of a bad weekend in terms of damage there. We only just managed to make a bit of a profit there, but still is a bit of a profit at least. And that is going to be it then for this weekend. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, really appreciate a like on the video. I'll see you next time then for what will be another street race then with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.